Hello students, and welcome to the Forest Biomes reteach. Before you are allowed to retest, you must turn in all missing assignments. You must watch this video in its entirety. Also, remember to write down the secret word at the end of this video. Okay, let's begin. What is a producer? Can you recall? A producer is an organism that produces its own food. A plant is a producer. And if you can remember, food for a plant equals what? Sugar. Food for a plant equals sugar. And of course, sugar equals chemical energy. Okay. Can you remember the process by which plants convert radiant energy into chemical energy? That's right, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process of using the energy in sunlight to make food from water and carbon dioxide. In other words, radiant energy is turned into chemical energy in order to produce food, or sugar for a plant. Some examples of producers are trees, shrubs, and grasses. And remember, producers make their own food. Okay, on to the next questions. What type of organism breaks down organic matter? Okay, I'll give you a hint. It's what mushrooms and fungus are. Alright, the answer is, of course, decomposers. Like this worm here. Okay, next. Think about our composting project. We collect data every so often by measuring the temperature. And as you know, we came up with a hypothesis as a class that the temperature would rise as the organic matter decomposed. So my question to you is, why does the temperature increase? Why does the temperature increase over time? Okay, well, the reason why is because as the organic matter decomposes, the bacteria gives off energy. And when that energy is released, the temperature rises. And here's an example of organic matter being decomposed. The organic matter in this picture is the tree stump. Alright, moving right along. What are the effects of deforestation? What is deforestation? What are the results of deforestation? we have an increased rate of erosion, less oxygen, and less organisms to absorb carbon dioxide. Now you're going to want to write these down. Increased rate of erosion, less oxygen, and less organisms to absorb carbon dioxide. Deforestation is the cutting down of forests. But if there's no trees, well, now what? Well, I'll tell you. An increased rate of erosion, for one thing. And why is that? Because there's no roots to hold soil in place. Also, with deforestation, there's less oxygen. Trees and plants produce oxygen. And of course, there's less organisms to absorb carbon dioxide. Okay, on to the next subject. Okay, I want to talk about adaptations. Alright, and as you can see in this illustration, the predator, the tiger here, has developed eyes in front, and the deer here on the right has eyes that are on the side. And there's a little rhyme here, if you will. It says, eyes in front likes to hunt, eyes on the side likes to hide. So, are tigers predator or prey in this picture? Right, they're predators. And of course, adaptations are for survival. Now I want you to look at this illustration as an example. Here you see 5 different types of beaks that have developed over time from one parent species here. Okay? These beaks adapted to help consume specific types of food. And again, here you see 5 different types of beaks that have developed from the one, from the one parent species. Okay, now we're going to talk about the 2 different types of adaptations. Behavioral adaptations. These are adaptations, or these adaptations are the way an animal behaves. It's what the animal does. Some examples of behavioral adaptations are burrowing. You can see these little guys down here are digging a hole. They're burrowing so they can escape predators. Migration is the seasonal movement of animals from one place to another. This is another type of behavioral adaptation. And hibernation, a deep sleep-like state when an animal's body processes slow down. Again, all 3 of these are examples of behavioral adaptations. This is the way that the organism behaves. Okay, now we're going to talk about physical adaptations. And you've seen this illustration before. These are variations in the parent species beak, but this is a perfect example of physical adaptations. Some other types of physical adaptations are front-facing eyes, like on the tiger you saw, scaly skin for protection, and bright colorings. And here you see some more physical adaptations. Hump on the camel's back, stores fat and nutrients. And here's the snake with the scaly skin. And then here's some natural selection going on here. This mouse, it looks like a kangaroo mouse, has adapted to camouflage in with the natural environment. So maybe other kangaroo mice that didn't have these types of colorings, they might have died out over a time, but the parents of this kangaroo mouse passed on their traits to this mouse. So now he has the stronger traits, which will help him survive in his environment. Again, we're talking physical adaptations. And adaptations, the name of the game is all about survival. Animals adapt to survive in their environments. And as I mentioned before, only the best traits are passed on from the parent to the offspring. And this is a process known as natural selection. Here's another example of an organism that probably wouldn't do too well in its natural environment. And here we have another organism that blends in rather nicely with the rock that he's laying on. So which of these animals do you think would have a better chance of survival in the wild? Not this guy. Definitely this one. And here's a couple of snakes. Same thing here. Now these are extreme examples, but you get the idea. The snake on the right here is definitely going to blend in better with his environment than this albino snake. Okay, I think the only place I've ever seen any type of albino animal is, surviving is in the zoo. I've never seen one in the wild personally. And there's a reason for that. Survival of the fittest. And having the best traits gives you the best chance of survival. And with that in mind, which of these two snakes do you think will have a better chance of surviving? Yeah, the one on the right. The one that actually looks like leaves, dried leaves. The one on the left sticks out like a sore thumb. So his predator, if he has one, would almost surely pick him out before he'd see this guy over here. Very good. So camouflage, physical or behavioral adaptation? You got it. Physical. Again, reasons for adaptations, survival. Remember, plants and animals can't go to the store to get what they need to survive, okay? It's highly competitive out there in the animal world, okay? Animals compete for a variety of things. They compete for food. Remember, food equals energy, so food is very important. Without food, they'll die. Animals compete for mates, again, because reproduction equals survival of the species. And animals and plants also compete for territory. And especially in the case of animals, territory equals resources. Okay, the bigger the territory that they control, the more resources that are available. Okay, and speaking of resources, this is a food web. I'm going to give you guys a second to look at it before I ask you a very important question. Okay, I'm going to pause for just a second here. Okay, you've had a chance to look at it. Imagine if the herbivorous insects here, whoops, let me get a different color. There we go. The herbivorous insects down here, imagine if they were to die out. Okay? Which organisms would be affected, do you think? Okay, no more herbivorous insects. Which animals would be affected? Okay. Okay, well, the spiders and predaceous insects would more than likely die out because their main energy source is now gone, so they're gone. All right. The next in line to be affected would be the toads and insectivorous birds, excuse me. Okay, they're the next ones to be affected. They're the next in line in the food web. Okay, moving right along here. Let's talk about what a catastrophic event is. Catastrophic event. It's an event that causes very serious problems or damage, like forest fires. Okay, and what I want you to understand is that catastrophic events do cause very serious damage. However, not all effects are bad. Okay, there are some positive effects. Okay, and let's talk about negative effects first. Okay, during a catastrophic event like a forest fire, you're talking about loss of habitat. You're talking about a loss of energy and an increased rate of erosion because there's no roots now to hold down the soil. All the plants and trees have been burnt away. No roots to hold down the soil. Increased rate of erosion. Okay, these are negative effects. And I'm going to give you guys a second to write these down. Okay, these are negative effects. Forest fires, negative effects. Okay, write these three down. Okay. Positives. Here's some positive things that happen after a forest fire. Minerals and nutrients are returned to the soil, and it allows for new growth. All the old stuff and underbrush has been burnt away. All that carbon, mineral, and nutrients has been returned back into the soil, and now new growth can start. Write these down too, please. Okay. All right. You're doing a good job. Thank you for watching this. On behalf of the 7th grade science team, I would like to thank you, for watching the Forest Biomes reteach. Your top secret word is integrity. Make sure you write this down so you can give it to your teacher. All right? Thank you very much, Bears.